Ladies and gentlemen, some of the faces and some of the names and some of the talents that you haven't seen on stage this evening are all of the songwriters who contributed to these songs. Many of them are performers on stage tonight, and many of them are not. And I've asked Tonya to tell you just a little bit about what went into these songs and how this album came into being, and how these 40-odd songs ended up on this CD, all tied around this unified theme of one voice. Muscle Shoals music coming together for the benefit of the families of the victims of September 11th.
The One Voice idea was about a week after September the 11th. I woke up and I was dreaming the song This Day, the chorus, and I wrote it down. And I told my husband, Kelvin Holley, I said, let's go to lunch. I have a great idea, and I want to see how everybody else feels about it. So we started making phone calls. And just a few days later, there were 30 songwriters at our house writing songs. There were guitars everywhere and keyboards everywhere, and it was just one of the most remarkable experiences of my life. But it was a time where we could actually give what we wanted to give from our heart, because we couldn't be at ground zero. We couldn't be there, so we wanted to offer this to everyone. Suddenly, it started growing, and more people became they wanted to be involved. And before we knew it, it had started growing into a double CD instead of just the one CD. Now we're at a point of 40 songs, like I said before, with the Pledge of Allegiance on there, so 41. And there are so many songwriters that have donated their time, their efforts, and basically, they've donated their hearts. And I just want to thank every one of them. And they're the faces you don't see a lot of times. So sometimes if you don't recognize some of the people that are singing their songs, the songwriters, it's not because they aren't doing a lot of work in the song industry, in the music industry. Because they definitely are. They're out there writing all over the place, and you would recognize a lot of their songs. But we don't have a lot of time to tell you all about that. So I think we're just about ready. But I wanted to thank them.
Thanks, Tonya. And now here's a red-hot team of Muscle Shoals music makers. One of them is Dennis Clifton, who performed earlier this evening. And the other man, along with Kelvin Holley, also tours with Little Richard all over the world and serves as the road manager for the man who calls himself the architect of rock and roll. Tonight he's been running all over the stage, making this show run so smoothly. Have you had a good time tonight? We need to thank musicians like Dennis Clifton and Wayne Chaney. once again for Wayne Cheney for running his legs off tonight. And now as the show starts to wind down, are you ready for a musical hurricane of sweet soul music to blow through Norton Auditorium? Well, if you're familiar with the music of the house band of Muscle Shoals, the Muscle Shoals Soul Review, or the rock and roll rhythm and blues band Iguana Party, you definitely know this voice, and you definitely know Hurricane Mary Mason.
All right. Before we get started, I want you to do something for me. Those of you who feel like standing, I want you to get up. Come on. I like that audience participation. Stand up if you feel like it. Come on. We still got some swagger. We got swagger. All right. Kick it, y'all. Get into it. Come on. Yeah. You've been down too long. September. Hey. Never the September. Day that sun got light. Until the day we die. It's not the same as when I was talking war. Well, we've had our share of troubles from the White House to the schoolhouse, shore to shore. Come on, swing with me. Stay together to push come to shove. Come on. Love is a gift. The heroes of our homeland protect our freedom here. Tell us we will. We can't show no fear. We don't know how to run. Justice will be done. Our daughters and our sons.
Up on the stage right now. And while they're all getting into place, I need to give you a little bit of background on this next number. It's an instrumental, a beautiful instrumental that was written by Calvin and Tonya, and it's called Children of September. The list of great guitarists, legendary guitarists who are featured on this album, and there were others like James Burton, who wanted to be there but were unable to be there. And there are a couple who are playing tonight, Microwave Dave and Gary Nichols, who couldn't be there that day but are sitting in tonight. But on this one cut, we have both on the stage tonight and on the CD, Barry Billings, Scott Moyer, Scott Moyer III, Wayne Bridge, one of the hearts and souls of Muscle Shoals music, Mr. Mickey Buckins, a man who recently left Nashville, or as Dan calls it, Nastyville, and returned to the Shoals, Mr. Larry Byram. The other half of LeBlanc and Carr that I told you about, Mr. Pete Carr. Back again, Mr. Dennis Clifton. If you've attended the W.C. Handy Festival, the W.C. Handy Music Festival that's held every summer, you can't miss this guy, musically or physically. Leading his unknown blues band, Mr. Mike Griffin. Another one of those musicians who plays over at Fame on Tuesdays, and he also performs over at Virtual Charlie's now and then, Mr. Zach Hacker. One of the founders of Molly Hatchet, and I'm not sure if he's here tonight, but Mr. Dave Blueback. Dave may not be here tonight, but he made his presence known that day. Kelvin Holley, of course, the rhythm guitarist from the famed Muscle Shoals music section, Mr. Jimmy Johnson, Rick Kurtz, James LeBlanc, a man who has been on the road with Jerry Lee Lewis for 36 years playing fiddle and guitar, my friend Mr. Kenneth Lovelace, back again, Mr. Will McFarland, man who, along with Mickey Buckins, hosts and founded the Muscle Shoals Songwriter Showcase on Thursday nights, one of the main reasons Muscle Shoals music is still alive and well. Yeah. Mr. Jerry McGee, another father and son team, Max and Kirk Russell, Mr. Travis Womack, once again Mr. Bobby Whitlock, and a musical legend who is on the album but couldn't be with us tonight, Mr. Reggie Young. And I believe that they are joined by David Hood on bass and Mike Dillon on drums, and I believe they're ready now. You guys ready, Kelvin? The great guitars with Children of September. the next generation, this is truly the next generation, I'd like to introduce the oldest daughter of the founders and creators of One Voice, Miss Lily Holley, who's going to lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States